Hey, what's up? I'm Steph, and today we're going to break down how we lit this interview for TED.
As a neuroscientist, I've spent my whole career studying the brain and what works. But by contrast, I've ignored certain aspects of my own financial well-being. And now I get to sit down with a global banking expert.
The goal was to mimic a black void set that they built once before for a 3-camera, 2-person interview. We did this on their stage in Manhattan, which is on the smaller side and therefore challenging when trying to create a blackout set, for 2 main reasons. There isn't enough space to distance the subject from the background, and you have a lot of light spill to counteract. The room already had a grid installed, so we rented 4 12-foot solids and strung them up to cover all corners of the room and covered the floor as well. Now in the past, they had a 6-foot frame with some Kino flows as the key overhead. This time around, we used my Godox F600 Bi through a 6x frame of magic cloth. To rig this up, we bit onto each side of the Godox frame with a Cardellini clamp, then ran that Cardellini into a gobo head, and ran that gobo head into another Cardellini, which bit the lighting grid. We did this so that we would have the most control over how we could angle the light, instead of it just mounting flush straight onto the grid. After that, we built a skirt for the light with some black ripstop to control the spill around the black backdrop. We placed the light as far forward as we could on their grid in order to get separation from the back wall, but even that was probably only 2 or 3 feet. For the 6-foot frame, we also bit onto each side with a Cardellini clamp, and then used a C-stand arm, an extra gobo head, and another Cardi to angle it and bite onto the grid. We used another 6 feet of negative to build a skirt around the back of that frame. Once we set that key light, we moved on to our hair lights, which was an Amaran 150C and 300C rigged to the grid in opposite corners. We softened it up with some loose diffusion pinned to the reflectors, and then made a skirt with black wrap to make sure it wouldn't spill onto the backdrop below it. To fill in our talent, we had 2 pieces of bounce board on either side with 2 small Nanlite 60Bs shooting into them. We softened these up with diffusion as well, and then added miscellaneous flags around the room as needed to get rid of reflections and streaks. And here's a look at our final product.
You can't just talk to people about their finances. You actually have to understand the whole person. And a lot of that is the work that you do, whether it's physical fitness or mental wellness or social connectedness.
As always, if you found this video helpful in any way, stick around for more lighting breakdowns, gear reviews, and behind-the-scenes looks at some of our sets.